Hello, everyone. Welcome to our peer-to-peer session, Creating a Cohesive Brand with Jaden Reyes. My name is Hendrik Hernandez Resto. I am the creative specialist at New Bedford Creative. Thank you for joining us today. Before I go any further, please enter your first and last name in the chat along with your email for our recording. Thank you. This peer-to-peer series is geared to enrich, educate, and connect creatives with our community. New Bedford is the home of artists, creatives, change makers, designers, entrepreneurs, and community enthusiasts, and the peer-to-peer sessions embrace the pulse that makes New Bedford so unique while also expanding our knowledge and connections. New Bedford Creative offers many opportunities for artists and cultural organizations. Join our creative directory, apply to one of our grants or call to arts, list your event on our calendar, all for free at our website, newbedfordcreative.org. Peer-to-peer sessions is supported in part by the City of New Bedford through the American Rescue Plan Award and Arts, Culture, and Tourism Fund, facilitated by New Bedford Creative at the New Bedford Economic Development Council. We would like to thank Mayor John Mitchell, his administration, and the entire New Bedford City Council for their continued support of the creative sector. This is just one component of a broader initiative to boost arts-based economic development and help the creative sector recover from the pandemic. Before I introduce our presenter, I want to go over the format for this session. Once I'm done, I will pass it over to Jaden. Once Jaden is finished, we will open up for Q&A. I will review the questions in the chat first, and then we can continue on with the Q&A live. We will have about 20 minutes for questions so we can wrap up by 2 p.m. Just so everyone is aware, this session will be recorded. Please feel free to put your questions in the chat so we don't miss them when we open up for Q&A. Most sessions throughout the series have been recorded and can be found on our YouTube channel at New Bedford Creative in the following week. I would like to introduce today's guest, Jaden Reyes, who will teach you all about how to make a cohesive brand. Now I'll pass it over to Jaden so that they can share more details on who she is and what she will present for us today. Go for it, Jaden. I am muting myself now.
All righty. Hi, guys. Hope you guys can hear me okay. Let me just share my screen so I can get this going. So my name is Jaden Reyes, and I'm the illustrator and stationery designer behind Brown Sugar Stationery and Design. So we are New England's first Black-owned stationery shop, and I founded Brown Sugar back in April of 2022. And since our debut, I've had the opportunity to open a storefront, which is now completely online. And today I'll be sharing with you guys the branding style guide that has solidified my place in the stationery world and local community. And this is, what I firmly believe has allowed me the opportunity to secure over $40,000 in grants for my business. So being a small business owner and entrepreneur is definitely a huge feat to take on. And understanding the components of your brand is an important foundation to have. I'll be going over a plethora of information today. I talk pretty fast, so I'm going to try and tone that down for us. And I've broken it down into 4 educational pillars for us to follow. I do strongly encourage you guys to take notes because it is a lot of information. So brand foundation. So a small business's mission is like its guiding star. And here are a few different pillars within, brand mission that you should focus on. So consistency. A brand mission ensures that there is consistency throughout all brand communications, whether it's your website, social media posts, packaging, customer interactions, everything you put out should reflect the same values and purpose. And the consistency you provide is what builds trust and recognition among your customers. Next up is differentiation. So a unique brand mission is what helps you stand out and your business stand out. This is what sets you apart from your competitors by highlighting what makes your business special and why it should be the top choice for your customers. So this is a key to not only attracting your customers, but also retaining them because we all want our customers to, stay around. So authenticity is next. And throughout my years of running Brown Sugar Stationery, I've come to learn that my approach of being genuine with my brand mission is what resonates most with customers and on a deeper level. So they enjoy my authentic approach to entrepreneurism. And when your brand style reflects the authentic mission, customers are more likely to trust your business and become brand advocates. So next we have clarity. A well-defined brand mission provides clarity for both customers and, if you have them, employees. And this helps your customers understand what the business is about and what they can expect from it. So if you have employees, it really serves as a guiding principle for decision making and what ensures that everyone is aligned with the brand's goals. You have flexibility next, which, while the brand mission remains constant, the brand style can evolve over time and to stay relevant with the changing market and trends and customer preferences. So this evolution should always be grounded in your core values, which we'll go over later in the presentation, and purpose outlined in your brand's mission. Lastly is emotional connection. So brands that connect with customers an emotional level tend to attract and retain more loyal followers. And a strong brand mission evokes emotions and builds a deeper connection with your customers. So brand vision. Having a brand vision is your roadmap. So innovation, I love to focus on this point first because a clear brand vision is what inspires innovation and creativity. It encourages entrepreneurs to think outside of the box and explore new opportunities that align with their vision. And whether it's developing new products, entering new markets, or adopting new technologies, the brand vision serves as a guiding light for innovation. Your focus. So the world of entrepreneurship is very fast paced. It's easy to get distracted by like new opportunities or like shiny new trends. But a clear brand vision acts as a filter. So helping entrepreneurs stay focused on what truly matters to their business, and it enables them to prioritize tasks and investments that align with their long-term goals. And for me, as a creative with ADHD, I always have like brand new, ideas for my business, but sometimes I have to back burner them because they do not align with my brand's vision and mission. Scalability. As your business grows, it's essential to maintain consistency and coherence across all aspects of your brand. A clear brand vision provides a solid foundation for scalability, and this ensures your business to expand into new markets or diversify your offerings without diluting your brand identity. That's very important. You never want to dilute yourself just to be a part of a new trend. Alignment. So, a clear brand vision also ensures that everyone involved in the business is aligned with the same goals and values. So, when everyone is working towards a common vision, it only fosters unity and maximizes productivity. And this is definitely essential for like when you're working, like if you're collaborating with other artists or other entrepreneurs, or if you have employees. Resilience. So challenges and setbacks are inevitable in business. Like I've had a few of those myself when I closed my storefront and had to pivot to completely online. But having a clear brand vision provides resilience in the face of adversity. So it gives entrepreneurs a sense of purpose and determination to overcome obstacles and stay true to their goals at the same time, even when it gets really tough. So having a clear brand vision is what I really believe allowed me to pivot and to be seamless in that pivot. Customer connection. Customers, most important. So a compelling brand vision resonates with the customers on an emotional level. It goes beyond product features and services, and it speaks to the values and aspirations that customers identify with. And when customers are able to connect with a brand vision, it fosters loyalty and advocacy, driving growth through word of mouth and repeat business. Because again, we want that retention. Customer connection is also vital to your everyday growth as an entrepreneur. You constantly want to, nourish those customer relationships. Brand story. So Your brand story is what communicates who you are, what you stand for, and essentially why you exist. And by sharing the journey, the values, and beliefs behind your brand, you're able to create a unique identity that sets you apart from the competitors. This identity forms the basis of your brand style and shaping everything from visual elements to tone of voice. So people don't really just buy services, they buy into stories and experiences. And a compelling brand story evokes emotions and it resonates with customers on such a deeper level than just putting your business out there. It creates a sense of connection and it goes beyond just transactional relationships. For me, like I have been very open with sharing like my journey, and people have met me through vendor markets. I'm very personable. A lot of people know like my daughter and my husband, because it goes beyond the transaction. Um, and when customers feel emotionally invested in your brand story, they're more likely to engage with your brand and be loyal to you. And I have found that in like crowded marketplaces, a compelling brand story helps you stand out from competition. It highlights what makes you unique and why customers should choose you over alternatives. And whether it's your origin story, your commitment to sustainability, or like your passion for innovation, your brand story gives customers a reason to believe in you. And this is reflected in your brand style and distinguishing you from competitors and attracting your ideal target audience. Your brand story serves as a unifying thread that ties all aspects of your brand, whether it's website, social media channels, marketing channels, or customer interactions. Consistency is key, and you'll find the two main words of this presentation are consistency and cohesion. And when you tell a consistent brand story across all channels, it reinforces your brand identity and it builds trust with your audience. And cohesion in storytelling translates into cohesion in brand style. So ensuring a seamless and memorable brand experience for all of your customers. Brand identity and core values. So up here, I've shared a few of Brown Sugar Stationery's core values. And having core values as a small business is an incredibly beneficial tool for branding. Core values reflect the genuine beliefs and principles that you drive your business. So when these values are embedded in your branding efforts, they communicate a very authentic experience with your audience. So customers are more likely to trust and connect with a brand that is authentic and true to its core values. And they also help you distinguish your brand from competitors. Because again, we want to stand out. We want, where our products and services may seem similar, your values can really be a unique selling point. So they highlight what makes your brand special and why customers should choose you over alternatives. And an example of that is with my stationery company. So for me, you can really buy stationery anywhere, like a Walgreens, Target, CVS, but you're going to be met with very generic designs and little to no diversity. So at Brown Sugar, where innovation and creativity are just a small part of our core values, you'll find a diverse and personable shopping experience here, which sets us apart. And think of your business as a living entity. I've since opening, really started getting into like branding and figuring out what my business is. And I've realized that it is a living entity. So core values shape the personality of your brand, whether your values emphasize innovation, sustainability, like customer service, or a social responsibility. They influence how your brand communicates and interacts with customers. So integrating your core values into your branding efforts ensures consistency in messaging and tone and really reinforces your brand's personality to your customers and to the outside world. So if you have employees, core values really serve as a guiding principle for your team. When employees understand and can align with the values of the business, they're much more engaged and motivated and committed to their work. So this positive internal culture reflects in external branding efforts. So as employees become ambassadors who embody the brand values in their interactions with customers, your core values are really like a framework for that, and a framework for decision making at every step of your business and at every level or department of your business. So, from product development to customer service, your values guide choices and actions that align with a long term vision and purpose for your brand. So, consistently applying your values in decision making reinforces your brand identity and it strengthens your reputation, not only as an entrepreneur, but as a business owner. Okay, so shared values create a deeper connection with your target audience. And when customers resonate with your values, they are more likely to develop brand loyalty and advocate for your business. So your values become sort of like a rallying point that brings together like minded individuals who support your brand mission. So essentially, core values are the foundation of your brand identity and they play a vital role in shaping your brand efforts. So, by integrating your values into every aspect of your business, you create a cohesive brand that resonates with customers and it sets you apart from your competitors while also building long-term relationships based on trust and authenticity with your customers. Brand messaging. We're getting to like my favorite parts. All right. So in the beginning, I had really struggled with trying to verbalize my brand. And that was until I really sat down and brainstormed a few keywords that I felt embodied my brand's mission, core values, and visual identity. So brand adjectives are a way to help define the personality of a brand. Just like people, brands have characteristics that make them unique. Um, like adjectives such as like sophisticated, playful, authentic, innovative. Those give personality traits to the brand, making it more relatable and memorable to your consumers. So like I said, you have to really start thinking of your business and brand as a living entity. So we're trying to, make it palpable. So, for example, if you have several brands offering the same products, adjectives like maybe luxurious or eco-friendly can set one brand apart from the rest, and you never know, like you're going to capture more customers that really hold those adjectives close to them. So customers often make purchasing decisions based on emotions rather than logic. Sounds kind of crazy, but brand adjectives really evoke specific emotions and feelings, allowing consumers to connect with the brand on a deeper level. It's manipulating, but it works. So adjectives like trustworthy, inspiring, honest, uplifting can create a positive emotional association with the brand, and it fosters, again, loyalty. So brand adjectives provide a framework for maintaining consistency across like your brand's communications. So they guide your tone of voice, your visual identity, and messaging used in like your marketing or advertising, as well as your social media or your customer interactions, whether that's through like customer support or a face-to-face interaction. And this consistency builds brand recognition and can really reinforce the brand's identity in the minds of the customers over time because they will start to associate these words with your brand. Now, your brand voice. So this refers to a unique personality, tone, and style of communication. And I included a few examples of my own from the commentary I use, like on my captions. And I try to maintain a very friendly and playful and honest commentary with my consumers. I just really be myself. And there are a few focal points I prioritize. So that would be tone, personality, style, and language. And because of my target audience and market, I don't really have to maintain a super strict professional commentary. But in like a healthcare field or maybe a law office will have to carry their brand voice very differently. And brand voice reflects the personality traits of the brand. So this can range from like playful and humorous to more serious and professional or a mix. But you have to know where your business stands and all of that. And just like individuals, brands have distinct personalities that resonate with different audiences. So tone refers to the attitude or a mood conveyed through the brand's communication. And it can vary depending on the context and the audience, but you should always be consistent with the brand's overall personality and values. So, for example, like a brand, you might use a casual and like conversational tone on social media, but a more formal tone in like a official communications. I'm not going to like use slang when I'm talking to HR or, you kind of have to use your brain in that sense of like, all right, is this appropriate or is not? Um, and you can play with it. So the language used in brand communication should be tailored to the target audience and aligned with brand's identity. This includes vocabulary choices, like cultural references. For me, I use slang, I'll use emojis, and like whether the brand uses like formal language, slang, or like a mix of styles. It depends on the preferences of the audience. So you might find that your message isn't really getting received too well by your audience and you have to pivot. So your brand voice also encompasses the stylistic elements of communication. So like your word choice, your pacing, and a brand's style may be concise and straightforward or poetic and descriptive or anything in between. So consistency in style helps reinforce brand recognition and builds trust in your audience. Brand identity. Oh, can't wait to get over this. This is my favorite, absolute favorite. So you can see my logos evolution. We started out, I made my first logo, I think in Canva, because I was like, I had this crazy opportunity to do a vendor market and it was my first one. I had no idea. I didn't have business cards. I didn't have anything, not even a logo or anything. So I hopped into Canva. I was like, find me something good, made that one out in like maybe 5 minutes. And as you can see, my business has had like quite the evolution over the 2 years I've been open, and that's perfectly okay. It shows growth, and I still have maintained and utilized my branding strategies to stay within my brand's identity and mission. Um, and that moves us into logo variations. So this plays a crucial role in branding strategy for a small business. They help ensure that the logo remains effective, but also recognizable across platforms and contexts. So again, consistency, uniformity, like with your promotional materials, social media, digital presence, packaging, um, everything. And some examples of those are like your primary logo, which is used most frequently, usually full color. It's like your main logo. Then you'll have your secondary, which is a simplified, like alternate version, an icon or symbol, sub marks, word marks, and the word mark is usually only like a text version of the logo. But by using these variations, small businesses can strategically ensure that their brand is like very flexible, professional, and consistently recognizable everywhere. um Logo positioning. So I've added in a few photos of how I use my logo and different logo variations. So for my product packaging, I always make sure that I'm using my same typography, my same color palettes, everything, and it ensures that people can recognize my brand. And even though I've changed my logo multiple times, people know my brand when they see it because of my branding guide style. And if you've noticed that this presentation is very cohesive and appealing to the eye, and this is because I've applied my branding strategies to this. Sorry about that. And I always make sure that I'm showcasing my brand within its brand identity. It's within its visual identity. So for me, that's color palette, typography, which we will go through next. And choosing the right typefaces for a brand identity is crucial because typography plays a significant role in shaping how your brand is perceived. Um, Here, like, are some key considerations. So, typefaces or fonts should align with a brand's personality and values. So you're probably thinking like, how in the world could a typeface reflect my brand? But it can. So, for example, a modern and minimalist brand might opt for like a cleaner, like serif or sans serif typeface, while something more traditional or elegant will do serif fonts, which are like they have the little foots at the end. And the choices of typefaces should reinforce the identity and positioning. And a key point to mention, because a lot of people do not know this, is that not all typefaces are free. So you may need to opt in to buy the proper licensing because you can run into copyright issues. And the main reason that I had to change from my second logo to my latest redesign was because I did not have the commercial web font or EPUB license. And for all of my products, I use that my main logo's typeface for a lot of my like tote bag designs, on my site, or even my like digital like product material. So I really needed to make sure I got those licenses because I did not want to run into copyright issues. And that's super important for, small businesses because it can be a costly mistake. And the primary function of typography is to convey information effectively. So it is like super, super important that you're choosing typefaces that are very legible and readable across different mediums, and sizes. So try to avoid like overly decorative or stylized fonts that will sacrifice readability. Um, and you want to choose typefaces that are versatile, um, that can be used across like a different design contexts. And you want to consider how a typeface will perform in different formats. So headlines, body text, captions, and signage. And a well chosen typeface should be suitable for both digital and print. Um, and you want it to be flexible enough to be able to convey different tones and messages. And while it's essential to prioritize, consistency in a brand's typography, but you should also have a unique, distinctive character. So for me, I bought the typeface that you see here, Hermione. That's what I use for my logo, and a lot of my captions on my headers on my website. And then my other two I use for body text or captions. Obviously, you can't utilize that stuff on like Instagram for your captions, but if you're making a social media graphic, you can utilize your typography setup in that. Um, and you can always get custom or like bespoke typefaces made for you, but usually you have to commission for those. Image styling. So, creating an effective image styling strategy for branding in small businesses involves a few different things. So, like, you really need to understand your brand identity, and you need to establish a visual style. So, for me, you can see the examples I've posted up on the screen, which is my Instagram timeline. And for me, when I first started out, you'll see the first picture on the left, very dark, very a lot of browns. I was using just random typefaces at that point for different promotional materials. And then when I switched over to my next redesign, I reflected that in my social media. So you can see brighter colors. You can see the way I'm taking my pictures are different. I'm using lighter typefaces. I'm making it more fun to reflect my business. But at this point, I was still trying to develop my brand's identity. And then I moved again and, I changed my logo and I was trying to incorporate a lot more color. And then finally, I've perfected it, is what I like to think. So I have a certain color palette that I use. I even have a certain overlay that I use on my reels. Um, and I love how it looks. It's people know when they see certain reels of mine, oh, that's Jaden, that's Brown Sugar Stationery. Like I know her work. Brand assets. So, social media, it's daunting, but it's very important to getting across a cohesive brand style. And you want to utilize content pillars with that. So, content pillars are also known as content categories or themes, and they're the foundational topics that your content strategy revolves around. So, these pillars represent the core subjects that are relevant to your business, and this is what resonates with your target audience. So it will help you organize your content and ensure consistency, coherency, and relevance through everything. Um, and the benefits of using content pillars is, like I said, consistency, efficiency. It really streamlines, your content creation, engagement, your SEO. And I've put up a few of what I have content pillars, which is product showcase. So this is where I do like my new arrivals, bestsellers, product details, different collections. My behind the scenes, my customers really enjoy seeing my company's culture and like the production process of my stationery items, design inspiration. So this is where I really target the artist customers that I have, because a lot of my customers are fellow artists and creatives. So I will provide them with like color palettes, like office and study aesthetics, customer, like what my customers are using my stationery for, and then other like design inspiration. And then finally tutorials. So I usually do like a Procreate tutorial, or even how to use my own planners or what I use, and how I use them. And lastly is your graphics for social media. So like I said, I use a style deck for everything. So as you can see with all of my graphics, whether they're Instagram posts, story posts, website imagery, or YouTube thumbnails, they all follow my brand's visual identity, and I stay within my style guide for Brown Sugar Stationery. And this is what I call my social media styling. So I create a style guide, follow my brand guidelines within that, and I usually develop like a document that has and outlines my visual elements. So that will include like my logos, my logo variations, and how I use those variations, color codes, typography rules, image styles. And by creating that style guide, it allows me to have consistency. And then also social media styling. So as we've seen previously with my Instagram, timeline, you can see that it's a cohesive look. And even when I do change it, you can kind of tell there's been a shift, but it's still cohesive. I create templates, and it really has boosted my engagement. So thank you so much for listening to me ramble on about branding. I really do love it. And if you're looking to book a one-on-one session with me, you can don't hesitate to reach out. I have all of my information there, and I can help you create a branding style guide. But also sign up for my emailing list, which is where I'll be posting dates and times and information in regards to my new comprehensive visual branding workshop for small businesses and entrepreneurs.
Excellent. Thank you, Jaden. We appreciate you and all that beautiful, insightful knowledge. I'm looking in the chat first to see if there were any questions there, but it doesn't seem to be holding any questions, just a little bit of information there. So at this time, we're going to open it up for questions. Like I said, I was going to check the chat. I did check the chat. Did not see anything there. Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions to Jaden. We would love this to be an active and open conversation.
Hello. Hi, Jaden. This is really great.
Hi.
This is the stuff I've been thinking about lately because I've been trying to figure out if I should do a rebrand of my work and stuff like that. No. I have a bunch of questions. I guess my first one is, do you find that you generate sales through your social media? And if so, how does that work?
Yes and no. It honestly depends. So like when I had my storefront, my physical storefront, I 100% was generating a lot more sales just because it was bringing people in. I say yes and no because right now I'm currently using my social media as more of just like a visual blog in a way. And I'm still in the middle of like a pivot. So it honestly depends on what your audience is, what your market is. Yeah.
Can I ask a follow-up question to that? Or Michael, you go. Okay. My follow-up is, have you tried Instagram or another place like that to sell your products? And if so, how did that work?
So I do use Instagram, like I guess it's like marketplace. I forget exactly what it's called, but I do use that. I haven't generated sales from that, but it does get a lot of views because I can see who's viewing it. Usually they just go right to my site. But I always do, but I always, whenever I have a product release, I'll link everything to my shop. I am trying to get into TikTok shop though. A lot of my small business friends have been saying that that's been working really well for them. So I plan on transitioning like my Instagram shop, all of those products over to TikTok as well.
Thank you.
I have another question, if that's okay. How do people discover your brand? And I guess second corollary question, do you advertise?
So for me, starting out, it really was, I just put myself out there. So I did a lot of vendor markets. Definitely sign up for the next class next Tuesday, where I go over how to be successful at vendor markets. But that's where a lot of people know me from. I was this little baby stationery company, just local. But I've been very fortunate to be interviewed by a lot of local companies and like newspapers. I do advertising myself, whether it's like Instagram, Facebook. I do have a Google Google My Business profile. I also, because I've won grants, like the latest grant I won with the Celtics and the NAACP, that has really put my brand out there. That was also with Vistaprint. So a lot of they've been putting my stuff out there for free, and I've had thousands and thousands of more clicks on my website since. So depending on what your business is, or what your niche is, you have to really tailor your advertising to that. So if your target audience is 18 to 25-year-olds, you're going to want to be on TikTok, you're going to want to be on Instagram, Facebook somewhat, but then you also do need to invest in that, and it is worth it to, do paid advertising.
You're lucky, Jaden, in that you are a designer, so you're very talented too, so you can do this redesign. For those of us who are watching who are not graphic designers and want to do a rebrand, what advice do you have?
There are tons and tons of free resources out there. And actually in my workshop, I put together like a entire cohesive list, and like materials to do that and for me to help you do that. But like Canva is a huge one. Like I said, when I first started, even though I'm a designer, I was like freaking out. And I just immediately went to Canva and put something together. You do want to be careful with that because, especially with like the AI features, because you do not want to be taking from other artists and putting it in. But they do have a lot of free, public domain things that you can use within Canva. What is the other one? I think it's Adobe. Is it Adobe Spark or is it Adobe?
It's now called Adobe Express.
Adobe Express. Yes. I utilize that a lot, especially with my social media postings. I'm not a huge fan of Photoshop and Illustrator, so I just honestly use Adobe Express, or I use my iPad and Procreate, and it's super easy. Even get inspiration from Pinterest. You have to utilize what's around you. Do a lot of market research as far as what other businesses like yours, your competitors, are putting out there for marketing, and what's working for them, and you can emulate that, but you can put your brand identity and visual identity and kind of use it as a template. Yeah, sometimes you can get away with really looking at other people's businesses and saying never copy them, but you can see what works for them and tweak it to make it work for you.
And you briefly mentioned on Instagram that you have, and I can't remember the word you used, it was either a filter or what can you talk about that?
Yeah, so for me, I'm really big on being cohesive. Like I said, it's the number one word for today. So you can use, how there's different filters on Instagram, but I honestly edit my photos in either what is it called? Lightroom. And I've went into, I think it was Etsy, and I found a bunch of like templates and filters that you can place over your like, I forget what they're called. They're like presets that you can place over your photos or your reels and videos. And I've done that because for me, it's like I have to streamline my my process here, and I can't be spending hours in Photoshop or Lightroom trying to do this. So I just bought presets, and I found which ones I liked, which ones really went with my visual identity. Or sometimes I'll take a photo, put it into Procreate, I'll make a layer on top of my photo, lower the opacity and do a clipping mask. And then I'll drop in a green or a pink color from my brand. And then that makes everything cohesive. And I honestly do that for all of my style guides within my brand.
At this time, I want to thank you all for your time this afternoon. This was a great session. I'd like to also thank Jaden once again for their hard work. Also, I'd like to thank our funder, the City of New Bedford, for making this possible. Please make sure to visit our website newbedfordcreative.org, that's newbedfordcreative.org, and join our free creative directory. This is the list we use to promote on our social media throughout the year. Make sure to add your events, galleries, exhibitions, or more to our calendar page that is linked to South Coast Today. We want our creatives to excel, and we are here to help. We have plenty of peer-to-peer sessions coming up. Please join us for our next session, Being Successful at Vendor Markets / Pop-Ups with Jaden Reyes of Brown Sugar Stationery, who's also here today. That will be on May 28th from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. And I have inserted that link. Oh, yes, it's already there. Thank you, Margot. Lastly, the recording of today's session will be on YouTube, our YouTube channel, within the next week. At New Bedford Creative is how you can find us. Have a great day, and thank you for your participation.